Mate, can I ask first off, we're fresh off the press conference where Jack Della was largely booed every time he spoke. I thought Americans loved an underdog. Were you surprised by that reaction?
Yeah, obviously there's a huge Muslim community out here in New York, but also you have to look at the fact that Islam's looked at as one of the best ever, and moving up and trying to beat a guy at 170. The thing that's fascinated me about this whole thing, like, Polymarket, we did a deal with them this morning and they were showing me the stuff and it was like 78% Islam. Like, it's almost like Jack is getting nowhere. So the guy hasn't lost in 10 years. He's on an 18-fight win streak, and he just beat Bilal Muhammad, who gave everybody hell before Jack. This fight is a lot closer than people are giving it credit for. And, he's at that point in his career. Came off the Contender Series. Obviously, he's been very successful. The fight of his life is Saturday night. And if he wins this fight, I think you'll see it flip and he'll start getting a lot more respect.
If someone was to ask you who is Jack Della, how does he fight, what is he about, what would you say?
Yeah, listen, he's a tough, gritty, well-rounded, talented kid. Beating Bilal wasn't easy. Bilal gave everybody in that division problems. He was the world champion. Jack went in and beat him, and Jack is definitely not getting the credit he deserves. He's definitely being overlooked by everybody, and Saturday night is his real coming out party. To beat somebody like Islam, when you look at that team and the respect that they have, him and Habib, this is the fight of his life.
What about what he's done already is causing him to be overlooked? Why is he being overlooked?
That happens. I don't think anything he's done before this has caused him to be overlooked. I think it's the exact opposite. I just think that Islam has done so much. And the whole Dagestan and Habib and, the camp that they have out there, and like I said, a huge Muslim. This is basically like a Muslim country right now. So I'm sure Jack's feeling it.
What does it mean if he goes out this weekend and beats Islam Makhachev, the guy who's considered, what will that tell you about the guy who's your welterweight champion?
Listen, this is the fight of his life. They're talking about, there was a question today, if you beat Jack and get 2 belts, are you the greatest ever? I mean, that's what's at stake here when you start to look at, how people feel about this fight for Islam. So, should Jack win, everybody will be talking about him on Sunday. And he beat Islam, and, he will feel the difference on Sunday if he wins on Saturday night.
Will the UFC have a new star if he wins?
I think we do now. This kid's 18, he hasn't lost in like 10 years. He beat Bilal, He's a tough kid, not afraid to fight anybody, and he comes from a great market.
What does it mean to have your biggest moment here in this venue?
Yeah, it's every time we come to New York, it's special in a different way. The press conferences here are always awesome, and to have so we're sold out on Saturday night again. It's going to be a $13 million gate. The UFC wasn't allowed here a few years ago. We're the top 8 all time at Madison Square Garden. In 2 years, we'll be the top 10, all top 10 biggest fights ever at Madison Square Garden. And a couple of years ago, we weren't allowed to fight in New York.
Yeah. Is this the interview tonight, mate, where you tell us that the UFC is coming to Sydney in February?
That I don't know. Off the top of my head right now, we're working on some stuff. We got this new deal coming up with Paramount. We're figuring out dates and where and when and who. And
are we fair to say that Volk should at least keep that month free, perhaps?
It's a possibility.
In terms of 2026, what can you tell? I think it's our last 4 cards in Australia have been headlined by overseas talent. Can you guarantee or say that's going to change in 2026? Or
no, listen. When we go to places like Australia, when we go down to Brazil, when we go to the UK, they like to see other people come too. They like to see the guys that they don't get to see fight, but there'll be plenty of their people on the card too.
I know with matchmaking it's constantly changing, but right now, who makes most sense for you for Volk next? Is it Lerone Murphy, Diego, or Movsar?
Yeah, I'm not telling you what we're going to do at Volk next. Once we figure out what's next, we'll announce it. And I get it. You flew all the way out here and you want to go home with something good, but I'm not ready to give any of that up yet. So we're coming out of a 7-year relationship, heading into a 7-year new relationship. And, there's a lot of things that still need to be figured out and worked out.
How do you see 2026 looking for Volk in his second reign as champion?
Good, yeah. Listen, if you're a champ, we're always looking for you to fight 3 times a year. You know what I mean? So, we can make him as busy as he wants to be.
Just a quick one. Obviously, the NRL, the rugby league's back in Vegas again next year. Last time we spoke, they were trying to get President Trump out there. Do you suggest they persist with trying to get the president to their season opener?
Yeah, absolutely. He just went to an NFL game, and a sitting president hadn't been to a regular season NFL game in like a crazy amount of time. It's like the 70s or something. And President Trump is one of those guys that loves to support sports. So, yeah, I think they should.
Well, obviously, last year he was at this event. I'm guessing this year he won't be.
No, he won't be here at this event.
Can you just give us an idea of some of the people who have reached out, perhaps, to be here for this one, and for
Oh shit! Off the top of my head, I have no idea. I have no idea.
And finally, can I just ask with Jack, if he wins this weekend, where do you see his star going?
What do you mean? Where do I see his star? If he wins this weekend, he's beat one of the greatest of all time who tried to move up and take his belt from him at a lower weight. This will solidify this kid that he's the real deal. And like I said, he might feel disrespected today, but you have to look at who he's going against. His whole life will change on Sunday if he beats Islam Makhachev.